Earlier in the year, KTM unveiled a very early prototype of the 990 RCR at Portimao, and we were there to touch and feel it. It was a teasy racing version, dripping with exotic parts that would never make the showroom, so it was a waiting game to see how the final production version would look. Just a few weeks ago, we had an exclusive visit to the factory in Mattighofen for an insight into design, manufacturing and production, and everything else in between, including wearing my proper journalist hat to delve deeper into some of the recent reported issues. That video will be released soon, but we also got the super rare opportunity to ride a few prototypes, one of them being the 990 RCR. KTM reckons the RCR sits somewhere in between the Panigale V2 and the Aprilia RS660 in terms of performance. We were told that these were the two benchmarks used in development. Given the prototype status and the fact this bike probably won't be released until early next year, we weren't allowed to take videos or photos, but I still managed to whack a GoPro on board to capture some initial thoughts.
Well, here we go, ladies and gents. World exclusive, baby. We are riding the KTM 990 RCR, or RC990, whichever one keeps calling it. But of course this is a prototype, but it's still going to be very much like the real thing, so let's change mode. We're in street mode. Oh, there's only one mode. Is there? Yeah, there's only one mode. I mean, it kind of is exactly what it says on the tin, really. It's a 990 engine, so you've got another 5 horsepower. And of course that'll change. You know, the final sort of specs will change until the bike is released. We've got no traction control, and we've got no... Oh yeah, that's it. We've only got street mode. It seems so bizarre, you not being on my chin. Hey, but that's the way it is. Oh, it's so strange. It's so strange. I mean, riding position wise, it's quite high. The bike is quite high. Obviously, the Duke chassis forms the fundamentals of the RC, but of course, at the same time, it's going to be different because it's more of a super sport bike. So, whoa! Yeah, it does feel quite tall. It's also quite long, it feels stable, even though we haven't hooned it. It's definitely it's not a little Twitchmeister. Gearbox and shifter kind of feel exactly like the sort of mid-range KTM stuff. You know, the upshift's really nice. Downshift is a little bit harsher, but of course you're packing better brakes now, so brakes have been upgraded on this. So I don't know exactly what calipers they are, whether they've actually been released or not, or I don't recognise them. They are Brembos, and they listened to feedback from the Duke 990 launch, and they came up with the fact that they should put better brakes on, and here we are. I'm looking at a very, not a strange dash, it's something different, shall we say. One of those kind of, it's like a massive XL smartphone laid on its side. So it's really wide and really quite short. And we've got some fancy graphics. Yeah, I mean, I can already tell you, like I kind of imagined before riding it, that it's going to sit between a Panigale and something like an R7 and an RS660. Of course it's going to have more ponies and more juice, more beef than the RS660 and an R7, so, but it's nowhere near a Panigale. Then again, it's a bit cheaper. I don't know the geometry, I don't know the special intricacies. We're literally riding a prototype. I think this is a P3, so this is almost as close as you're going to get to the final production bikes, but you can kind of tell, as I said, it's quite tall. It feels like it's come from the Duke family, but it's still quite, well, it's very sharp. There's no problem with steering speed, that's for sure. So obviously we've got WP suspension, and we've got a sportier fork than the Duke 990. And I can tell you here, I'm looking at the compression on the left, rebound on the right, and you've got 6 clicks of adjustment in each. So you can go -3 or +3 for both rebound and compression. And I can tell you, that's definitely worked to save people getting lost in the maze of setup and getting a screwdriver out and going, oh, +14, -28. It's definitely easier, just grab a couple of clickers. As I said, this is a prototype. We've only got street mode. I'm in Supermoto ABS, so I can do skids. Yeah, there's the world's first skid in a 990. Oh, the guys, they're just laughing at me now. The guys are just yeah, they're the the guys. It's a lovely little rumble. Can you hear that?
If you want to look as peng as us, who wouldn't, and want to win an RX-7V Evo for free, yes, free, then head over to apex66.co.uk for your golden chance. There's a link in the description. Did I mention it's free?
I'm not sure if my little nugget of information will make it to another video, so I'm going to say it anyway now. A lot of people, believe it or not, and I believe it, there was a lot of hunger, there was a bit of a taste for KTM to make an RC 1390. Now they actually tried it, they put fairings on a Super Duke, but it was a bit harsh, it was a bit too much, and McWilliams and other test riders said it's just ridiculous, it's too much torque. I kind of see their point, but I don't want to, because I think it would be a brilliant machine, an absolutely fantastic machine. Yeah. It's like speed dating. It's like, oh shit, we've really got 10 kilometers on each bike. What do I say about it? Again, I'm guessing here because we might have already mentioned the price depending on what comes first in the video, but you're looking at around 16 grand for this. So I think I would have liked a bit more premium, but in terms of dynamics, it's going to be a very involving, very exciting bike. I guess it's what flavour you like, isn't it? I guess it all comes down to budget when you got you know, such a spread of performance over the over the 10 grand to 20 grand. It's there's a few bikes here roundabout. Knee down. Oh, nearly. Yeah, riding position. It's as I said, it's quite. It feels like it's come from the Duke. It's tall. It's quite relaxed. The pegs aren't too high. They're nowhere near R7 spec, and the bars seem quite high as well. They're not, you know, they're quite it's quite comfortable. I'll give you that. Quite a tall screen. Again, I don't know if this will make production. It looks quite racy. So essentially at the moment though, what you got is, as I mentioned before, a Duke 990 with fairings on and some nice modifications to make it a bit more super sporty, and that is where you are on the market. Let's whack the clickers up, see how they work. Oh no, oh they do. Oh wow, okay. There's definitely more than 6 there though. Again, the joys of riding a prototype, you have no idea what it is, what to expect, what the buttons do, if they work, etc, etc. Yeah, there's one thing you can notice between the Duke and the RCR is the fact that the brakes and the suspension work much better together. You kind of get a bit of a slap and a lack of refinement really with the Duke, whereas this, yeah, good suspension, better brakes, or better suspension, better brakes. It's all quite nice. So we're in town now, bit of urban stuff, and it's a piece of piss to ride. It's like a Duke with slightly racier riding position. But yeah, I got a lot of shit recently when I rode the Daytona 660 and said it was the future, or certainly the new wave of supersport, because bikes like these, you know, unless it's a Honda, the CBR 600R or the Kawasaki to some extent, you know, but they've got an existing model and to go or purely to go racing basically, then this is it. This is the supersport sector. It's so compromised, and yet the bikes are good enough. The base bikes, i.e. the Duke and the Trident in Triumph's case, the bikes are so good you could whack a set of fairings on and you know, change the riding position, and it is a supersport bike, or you can call it a supersport bike. So don't hate the player, hate the game. But that's just the way it is. And then, but the point is, this bike is versatile enough to have a bit of fun with in the twisties, send it, upset a few people on 20 grand super bikes and track days for that matter, but also poodle about town. It's comfy, my wrists aren't hurting, and that says a lot actually, because this is the first super sport bike I've ridden since I broke my wrist. It's actually quite nice. It's actually really stable mid corner, which is surprising given how nimble it is as well. I think that's a super special geometry idea. Yeah. I think you're gonna, if you buy one of these, you're gonna have a lot of fun on it. Put it like that. It's definitely something that's slightly different. It's not, you know, you can tell it's not a conventional super sport bike. You can tell it's compromised, but it doesn't feel bad at all. It just feels quite high, thin, and stable, which is bizarre for a KTM, isn't it? Right guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye. See you on the production side.